Hello, everyone. Actually, I want to highlight something. We have, next door, we have a meeting room that is set up for bilateral talks. So anybody who wants to sit down and talk with anyone, we have this room available, so please use it. We paid for it, so let's make use of it if anybody needs to. And then our next talk for today is Bernd from DE-CIX. He was here a moment ago. Please welcome Bernd. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. Thanks to the program committee for accepting my presentation. So I will talk about the transformation of peering in Middle East. So this is a bit a follow-up of a presentation of the last MENOG. So let's start with looking what has happened since last MENOG. Last MENOG was in Bahrain in December. So you see the picture 2022 to 2023. There was some move. Yeah. So when we compare these two pictures, so there is UAE-IX in addition, DE-CIX Jeddah, and I noticed Equinix Jeddah was missing on Internet Exchange Map, so I stumbled on it in PeeringDB, so I have to edit this manually. So that's the change on the IXP landscape. So when we look at the Internet exchanges, so how many peers we have, how many connected capacity we have, IPv6, so these are the three columns. So make it quick with IPv6. If you're peering at an exchange, please include IPv6. I think that's the simple message here. But coming back to the numbers, so the blue lines are focusing on the speed column. So speed means connected capacity. So when you look at the lines, you see two IXs in the range of 2-point-something terabit. So that's DE-CIX in Riyadh and UAE-IX. And then we have MENOG and JEDIX with 1-point-something terabit and the others. In terms of peers, that's also interesting to look at. So you see the numbers of participants. So here you have the two UAE internet exchanges on top with 98 and 35 for Smart Hop X. Also mentioning these numbers are coming from PeeringDB, so please make sure that all your data is in PeeringDB, otherwise it's not visible. The real numbers could be a bit more than that, so if you're a bit don't find the right number, maybe some PeeringDB updates were missing. So when looking at the peak numbers, so it's not a surprise that the same four participants are coming up with the blue lines again, so showing the peak numbers. So for MENOG, I have to do this to solve these question marks. So the homepage was not showing the real absolute peak, so Taha was helping me out here. So real peak is 570, so MENOG is number one here in all-time peak, followed by UAE-IX. JEDIX, DE-CIX also being with the blue numbers in the leaders of the big four, so to say. Yeah, this is just a growth example. I think this is valid for all of the exchanges here, so it must not be UAE-IX. I think this is just one out of many examples. I think all the exchanges show a similar picture here, but it's remarkable that last MENOG, December 22, we were looking at 350. Now we have 500 plus, so this is really going quick here. Next picture, that's also, I think, important to look at because it shows the distribution and these different specializations or different hub ecosystems. So these are the players with the 100 gig connects. The blue ones are those which are new in comparison since the MENOG 22. So you see a lot of dynamics in the last year here. What's also interesting, you see Riyadh with being with the higher peak. High means in that picture 800 gig, so the leader has 2 times 400 gig capacity. That's a same group. And the others maybe have a more variety. So UAE-IX, you see this field is not that high, but wider than the others. So each hub has its own specialities, and it's not about who has the largest peak or the widest field here. Each market has some specialities of its own. So all the markets are important because they have something unique to bring in. A similar picture, I checked a bit the usual names on cloud zones. For whatever reason, they love to be at the Gulf, it seems so. But I'm quite sure this picture will also change and will be more colorful, and sorry for just taking the usual big names here, and you know, in the rooms are quite more who would also see themselves here, so sorry for my ignorance here to just show these ones. This table here shows a bit more details, so we tried to catch a bit the names, who is where, under what topic, at least in our sorting. So sorry if you see it different than our table design here, but you see this is a nice variety. So each market, as said before, has its specialities, its names, which are maybe missing on another hub, and that has something to do with my second part of the presentation then. Also interesting leaders in terms of content, or let's say content or participation on internet exchanges. From the content side, so I used here two columns. So one is the count. So that's the number of participation here on the exchanges in the region. So you see that typically leader board here has 3 participations. The last column is who is having the largest capacity. Important to explain, if you miss some names here, some of the content players like to use PNIs here. So the fact that somebody is maybe not shown up doesn't mean that he is not present. So there are more participants present, but maybe not using an IX. So this is maybe important to say in addition. So this here is showing, in contrast to the content, this is the table of the operators here. I know there are a lot of numbers on it, but let me explain some important things here. So first, it was a bit difficult for me finding out the ASN whom they belong to. So you see the top 3 are all showing up with 4 used ASN. This has typically to do with being present in Kuwait, being present in Bahrain, being present in Oman with different ASNs. So, but for my table, to not let it explode, I decided to summarize it here in under one name. And the outcome is, if you see the number of participations, so the number 1 here would be Ooredoo with 7 participations, but spread over 4 different ASN. So for the engineers, they know this also tells a different story, because different ASN can have different performance backgrounds then. And the other column is also important, the absolute capacity. So you see it's STC with 900 something, so close to a terabit of peering capacity in total on the exchanges. when we look at the summary below here, so you see the number of participations at UAE. So a lot of players are present at UAE-IX, whereby DE-CIX Riyadh has the lead, so to say, in the absolute number of operator capacity connected. So there are different views how you can see these numbers, and I hope this gives a bit of an overview what's happening from the operator side. A quick peering slide. Yeah, this is why we are using peering. This is just a random example from peering in Dubai using the Smart Hub IX peering bridge, and you see the latency makes a difference. So your customers will like it if you optimize your network in this direction, and this is just an example of what should be the outcome of fixing latency problems. A second quick example why it's important to place Anycast systems in your region on your exchanges. This is an example of PCH turning up peering, and the latency to more than 100 top-level domain Anycast servers changed from 100 millisecond down to 1 millisecond. So this is a good reason why you want to have PCH and all the other domain systems on your exchanges. Then coming to the second part. First part was showing there is a lot of variety and a lot of different stuff on different exchanges. So my question was, how are these hubs interconnected? So if somebody is at Kuwait at the internet exchange, how good is the reach from the other countries? Yeah, because this is what peering is about. So how did I check this? So I looked at the looking glasses of the internet exchanges. I searched for the participants. I looked into the prefixes which are announced on these exchanges on the looking glasses. And then I did a mass trace route from all the countries by using the RIPE Atlas system. Thanks, RIPE, for providing that. And I look for the absolute minimum. Yeah? So what is the physical best result I can catch from all the countries to these examples here? Important to say, please use PeeringDB. If you operate in IXP, please use the field of looking glass. Please publish your looking glass. We all need this on the engineering side. So I found 3 looking glasses, JEDIX, IX Kuwait, UAE-IX. Aqaba-IX was in turn-up during that time. The others are please invited to update PeeringDB with looking glasses so that us engineers find them. So showing the first example, so I used IX Kuwait. I found Facebook on IX Kuwait. I found a prefix. I could ping them. I verified that it is local and not coming from Europe or Singapore or somewhere else. And I was happy to see Kuwait to Kuwait with 1 millisecond. Yeah, so this is what should be the outcome of a local peering in a country. The other numbers, so the best result from UAE was 15 milliseconds, which I know is physically doable. So 15 millisecond round trip time Dubai to Kuwait is the physical possible thing. Bahrain, a bit surprising, 25. So this could be better because Bahrain is closer to Kuwait than Dubai, of course. So why 25 if UAE can do 15? And Saudi, the best result was 32. What does this tell me, or what does it tell you? Yeah, if you're in one of the other countries, maybe you wanna check if you can connect to IX Kuwait, that you have a similar good latency than the green ones. Because if you're not in the green line, maybe your operator missed something, or yeah, you didn't find a way into IX Kuwait. So please have a look and please fix these terrible numbers of 200 something millisecond round trip time within the region, this doesn't make sense. So that was already my summary. Yeah, so you should reach the other IXPs. Yeah, it's not just about your own IXP. Yeah, so if you have an IXP in your country, this is fine. Please connect, but please also have a look at the other IXPs in your neighbor countries or in this region. A second example, using the looking glass of DE-CIX in Jeddah. So Medianova was seen there. I found a prefix. I knew it was local there. So mass trace route again. And winner is, no surprise, Saudi itself, yeah, as it should be. That's the best latency. Why 15 milliseconds? There are no probes in the region of Jeddah. So dear Saudi community, please take care to provide more Atlas probes. All your probes are in between Riyadh and UAE, so you get a bit strange results if somebody is measuring performance here. The other countries, UAE with now 30 milliseconds seems somehow appropriate, Bahrain 31, Kuwait 27, and the others, let's say, could improve. Another example, it's the similar picture, so that's just a copy of the color before. So Saudi itself being close, Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain. That's most probably coming from a root server situation which is giving the same peering environment or whatever. Third example, again, DE-CIX, same picture, so the same four answers here on low round trip time and the same answer on high round trip time for some other countries here. Then coming to UAE-IX, and you will recognize the picture is changing to much more green, and no, this was not a selective example by me. So this is the effect. If you are dense interconnected, then you have a good chance that your overall picture is becoming much better. So you see targeting valve here on a prefix which is running in Dubai using UAE-IX. You remember maybe from my initial large table, UAE-IX has a lot operators connected. So if Valve as a gaming content is in Dubai and a lot of operators connect Dubai, then this is the answer, what's the outcome here. So UAE-IX showing nice things here. The reason why the latency, switching back again, Saudi shows a latency of 12 milliseconds to Valve in Dubai, while Saudi was showing 15 milliseconds latency to Jeddah. So this has only to do, as mentioned before, the probes are closer to UAE than to Jeddah. So that's the reason why you see better round trip time to UAE here from Saudi as well. But changing to another example, sorry, I missed i3D. That was my second example, i3D, gaming specialist, low latency specialist, showing the same picture here, so most of the countries are served well. Then another picture, you see a bit less green, that this was Tencent. And another example also on UAE-IX starts play. This is wondering me a bit. I need to talk with them because you see not just being connected at an IXP doesn't mean everything is auto solved. So you still need your engineers, your peering managers, your smart engineers with smart doing. That peering management happens, that your peering sessions are working well, that the route server sessions are working well, so it makes a difference what your engineers are doing. And yeah, that's what was explained. Then some more quick examples, to not forget, there are CDNs out there. CDNs, that's the latency picture with the same test methodology to Amazon SA. So you see this is a brilliant green pictures. So that's based on Akamai in this case. if you test the same to apple.com, you get a similar picture. And Akamai is just one example for the CDN industry. I think Edgeo results will not look much different for their customers, but it's a lot of work to find these IP addresses for target to make this method work. But you see that CDN is very present here, is covering very well the things here from their side. Another example, Quad9 representing free DNS resolvers. That's also good in many countries. Still more countries could be improved. So please have an eye on that things. RIPE K-root representing root DNS server systems. You see a fantastic result here with a lot of 0 point something from the latency. So thanks RIPE for being that active in this region. Thanks the hosters to help RIPE putting this stuff into your countries. Same for NetNode, iRoot, also very good. So please have an eye on these root DNS operators and help them to put root DNS stuff in your countries. Last example, Fastly, another content example showing also a very good result. So CDNs know how to do that. So the question to you, so I leave you with this question. Interconnection gaps in the region. Yeah, is this questioning, is the region competitive? Yeah, I would invite you to have an eye on your neighbor hubs. Yeah, I think your own position is improving with interconnecting your neighbors' IXs as well. Yeah, so this is what IXs are for. Yeah, so please have an eye which IXP you maybe have missed till yet. What's also in finding Yemen, okay, they have different problems these days. It's totally disconnected from in terms of a low latency. So that I would love to see improved here, beside political situation there, of course. For me, the benchmark would be 30 milliseconds. So I was friendly with 50 milliseconds for my green coloring. So in the next year, I will lower this a bit and challenge you with maybe 30 milliseconds. So this is what is the physical possible thing here from any country to any country. In case your IXP is missing here, I need a looking glass, please, in case your network is never shown. Maybe RIPE Atlas probes are missing. And that's it. Thank you.
Any questions? Do you have any questions? So I'd like to call our panelists up for our next session.